Hey everybody, this is Carl from the one and only Random Squeeze Music Blog, and I am coming at you today with an album review of the Caretaker's Patience after Sebald. So, uh, quick, um, quick little bio on the Caretaker first before I jump into my track by track style review. So he was born James Kirby in England. Um, he's he's been in the industry since 1996, so he's done a lot of work in electronic um, and that kind of producing, as well as like experimental ambient music, noise music, ballroom, etc. So he's done a lot of work, 9 albums actually. So this is his latest album, the ninth album, entitled Patience, obviously, like I said. And I think I'm just gonna jump right in. So, big fan of this album. I love the way he titles all of his songs, which I think, like, just all of his titles kind of really set the mood for his album. So, that's why I kind of did a track by track for this one because I think it's kind of cool to hear all those titles and everything. So the first track, "Everything Is on the Point of Decline," was my opinion of a perfect intro to an album. When I listen to an album, I like to hear something that kind of captures the mood of the album and doesn't give the whole album away, but yeah, it keeps the listener captivated from what might be coming in the future. So this really captures the dissonance found in the rest of the album, which I really like, and this kind of ambience that we see throughout the album, kind of like the static overlay on the tracks and everything. So good job on the first track. Second track followed suit nicely. It's entitled "As If One Was Sinking into Sand," and the loop didn't really fit into like a certain tempo, which kind of actually like reinforced that image of sinking into sand. So I liked it. I mean, I'm I'm pretty I'm classically trained musician. I've been playing cello for like 13 years, so for me, sometimes that kind of stuff bugs me, but it didn't bug me in this case. So good job there. The next track, "Approaching the Outer Limits of Our Solar System," was the first track where we really saw him like opening up the album and allowing your imagination to start grasping the album. And the music was so quiet behind the static that it really allowed you to fill in some of the blanks, like of the track, because you couldn't really hear it all. So that was kind of cool. And this was kind of the track that brought the album to life for me because I had to allow my imagination to fill in the blanks. So that was kind of cool. And it kind of let my imagination roam free throughout the rest of the album. So that was way cool. The next track was "When the Dog Days Were Drawing to an End," and like I really like this one, but it kind of freaked me out because there was like this weird voice, and I couldn't figure out what it was saying, but it was just right at the end of the sample. But I think it was well mixed. This was probably one of the best mixed tracks on the album. So once again, positive reviews on that one. Number 5 was "Last Glimpse of the Land Being Lost Forever," and this was the first song that we really saw like a longer sample. I think the sample was around 20 seconds long on this one, so that was really nice because you got to like hear more exposure of some of like the piano and everything that was being used in the sample, which I liked because 7-second samples are great, but it's good to switch it up. So I'm glad he did that. Then track number 6 was "The Homesickness That Was Corroding Her Soul," and um, it's hard to explain like the thing that I really liked about this, but if you've ever listened to like a really old cassette tape or a really warped record, you kind of get like a variation in pitch on the same note. So they had a lot of repeating notes in the sample, but it was such an old, I think it was a record that he sampled off of, that we got a little bit of variation, like it was like kind of thing, but not that drastic, but it was the same note over and over again, but it would keep curving, which I really like, because it kind of, I don't know, I like it, the old school sound of that. And also this was an older record, so it kind of popped a lot, like there's a lot of dust on the record, so it sounded really aged, which I like. So yeah, that was kind of cool for me, and I'm glad he did that. So nice job finding that record. I'd love to know what it was, but he'll never see this probably, so too bad. Okay. Also, I gotta apologize for my terrible webcam before I continue. I actually have a really nice camera, but I was too lazy to set it up, so now I get crappy quality. So there you go. Number 7 was I have become almost invisible to some extent, like a dead man. What an intro, or to the song, like just seeing that title, kind of like, wow, kind of deep. So on this one, I love the drone chords in the bottom of the sample, and the constant but slight change in the tempo through the loop. So maybe that also indicates an older record that he took a sample from. I don't know, but that like variation in tempo allowed like the sample to continue being interesting throughout the whole track, because it allowed me to really notice differences in the loop every time it played. So I really like that the tempo kind of changed there, like over and over again, but slightly. I don't know how to explain it. Just listen to it. But number 8 was "In the Deep and Dark Hours of the Night," another great title. The reverb made the piano sample sound dark, hollow, and metallic, which I liked. Kind of sounded like something you might hear if you were playing a really old piano in an aircraft hangar at night when it was raining, because the cool like static, I guess you could call it, with the reverb kind of made it sound like rain, which I like. Number 9 was "No One Knows What Shadowy Memories Haunt Them to This Day." This is a really, really creepy title, and it captures the mood perfectly. It sounded like, I don't know if you've ever seen like those old portrait photos. Maybe I'll throw one in right now. But anyway, those creep the crap out of me. Like, they're very calming, but I have an extreme phobia of that. So that's kind of what I got when I heard this. It's like they're trying to speak to you through the music. Maybe I'm just crazy, but that's what I got from that. So then 10 was called "Increasingly Absorbed in His Own World." And the dust on this sample gave me the image of an insane person scratching himself nervously with his eyes wide open, because like the popping kind of sounded like someone going like, like crazy, like ah. So, or he's trying to like scratch himself, like get something invisible off, like that, like all crazy. So that was kind of creepy, but this image kind of pairs with the title, I think, and the complex sample, like the piano sample. So I like that. 11 was "Isolated Lights in the Abyss of Ignorance." Sorry. This track to me sounds like the footsteps you imagine you hear in your room at night when you're like 6, and it's like dark outside and it's raining. Like, it really this album to me really, really captured a lot of images that I've experienced in my life. I'm not saying like I'm a depressed psycho, because I'm not, but I can relate to this album a lot because I think everybody can, so that's maybe why I like this so much. And then the last track, "Now the Night is Over and the Dawn is About to Break." I got extreme chills for like 30 minutes after listening to this, because like there's this opera sample, but it was really slowed down, and just listen to it. If anything, if there's one track to pick off of this that explains everything that the Caretaker like is all about, I think it's this one, and it just really like hit something off in me. Like, definitely give that one a listen for sure. So overall, Sorry, this was a longer review. It's a very long album. I think it's right around the hour mark. But I would, if I could sum this up really quickly into like a few words, I would say it's stunning, brilliant, and just as ridiculously influential and unique as his last album. So I think it's actually better than his last album, but I really loved his last album as well. So check that out. And this is a 9 out of 10 for me. Now, I got some info for you. You can check us out at the randomsqueeze.blogspot.com. That's our website. It's a music blog. We do written reviews, track reviews, something called the Daily Squeeze, where we um, highlight a artist or a song that we really liked. So go check that out. Then we're also on Facebook, facebook.com/therandomsqueeze. Um, and you can email us at randomsqueezeblog@gmail.com. All of the info will be in the doobly-doo description. I don't know what people call it, so I kind of made up my own word. So, yeah, thanks for watching, everybody, and hope to see you soon. And hit us up on Facebook and email us or whatever. Okay, bye.